Hi everyone, it's me, Monica P. Hall, aka Conduit of Healing, Psychic Medium, Reiki Master Teacher. And it's been a while since I've vlogged to all of you out there. And the reason is because I have been navigating this shift. And if you have been navigating the shift for the past 2 months, then you know it's been quite the ride so far. Moments of absolute crazy high energy where you feel like you're on the verge of an out-of-body experience, or you're kind of hoping to have one because it's just that intense, to absolute exhaustion, and you're just doing everything you can just to get through each day. You're just so tired. And it's obvious. It's because there's such rapid, intense changes happening in such a short period of time that it feels like we're always trying to play catch up. But I have found that the less I try to figure out what's going on, the better off I am. So that's what's been going on with me, and that's why I haven't been in touch with you guys. But tonight, and it is nighttime here, tonight I wanted to talk about interconnectedness. And I feel like this is such an important subject matter because we as human beings have a tendency to try to compartmentalize things. We believe that we can have one thing happen, or a certain level of stress in one part of our lives, and it doesn't affect the rest of our lives. It doesn't affect other things, other events, our energy levels for other things, or our ability to handle other challenges and situations, and it's simply not true. And I want to address this because as a psychic, as somebody who is constantly sort of being asked questions, or somebody looks to me for advice on how to handle different situations in their lives, what I try to do with Conduit of Healing is I really try to bring attention to the individual, the power that they have in choice. Because everything we do in life, we're making a choice to either deal with it or to not deal with it, to take ownership of it or to not, to take responsibility for it, hold ourselves accountable or not. Whether or not you're doing this subconsciously or consciously, you're always doing it. And what I try to do is I try to encourage people to be conscious of their choices that they're making in lives, because every choice has consequences. And if you don't like the consequences, then chances are that you probably didn't make the choice that was working in your best and highest good. Another thing is that we tend to emotionally attach ourselves to the choices and consequences of other people. And yes, we know that parents have a tendency to do that. We have a tendency to do that in romantic relationships, and some of us who have severe issues with this, we try to do it pretty much with everyone we know. Those are people that one might call control freaks. I definitely know that in the past I have been a control freak, but then a lovely thing happened to me. I got tired. I got really, really tired of involving myself into things, situations, and with people that really had nothing to do with me. And I know that when you really put yourself at the center of your focus of everything you do in life, you really don't have time to even fool yourself into thinking that you have a say when it comes to somebody else's life. Because honestly, unless you're a parent, and even there's a caveat to parenting, unless you're a parent, you really don't have a say. You can delude yourself into thinking that you have a say. A lot of people use money. They use fear. They use a lot of things to try to force their belief, their wishes, their desires onto other people. But at the end of the day, it's really that other person making the decision, whether you like it or not. And a lot of times you won't. And that's okay, because it shouldn't stop a person from doing what's best for them or what they think is best for them. So I want to go back to, who are you at your core? And that's really what connectedness is about. It's sort of like if we're talking about a wheel, for example, and in the center of the wheel is where you are. In the center of the circle of all things that you would call your life or your personal universe is you. And it's kind of like you're the sun of your own solar system. All things are going to be radiated, touched, and a lot of times created by you and your choices. And again, a lot of us aren't conscious about that. We don't understand that if we allow ourselves to be stressed and the stress is not resolved, it's going to express itself in many, many ways. A lot of times it can express itself in anger. It can express itself in depression. It can express itself in lack of patience. It can express itself in illness. It's funny because when you go to the doctor and they're talking to you about immunology, they always talk about stress levels. So your stress level has a direct impact on your health. Now, you've all heard this. If you've gone to the doctor, you've heard this. It's like, you're sick because you're stressed out. And a lot of people, they don't allow that to click. They don't realize, or they don't own the fact that they're allowing themselves to get stressed out about something that they're choosing to be stressed out about, and that it's going to affect their overall health. Or, for example, if we don't accept the truth of the matter that anything and everything that's happening in your life is happening because you want it to happen. Yes, the bad stuff is happening because you want it to happen. Now, why would I say such a horrible thing? I would say such a horrible thing because the truth of the matter is, for every bad relationship, every bad job, every bad situation that you find yourself in the beginning of it, you said yes. Now, for example, a relationship. You met this person. In the beginning, they were great. You were with them for a while, and then there was one red flag. Be like, oh, no, that's okay. That's fine. I can deal with that. And then there was another, and that's fine. And then there was another, and then all hell breaks loose. They're a horrible person. You're like, why me? I worked so hard, and who's the victim? Wait, who's the victim? See, that's the thing. Intuition is really important. So if you took ownership of the fact that you ignored quite a few red flags along the way, you have to ask yourself, why did I do that? Why? I should have known, or I knew this was going to happen. Well, if you know, how can you be upset at the other person for doing what for them is normal, when you had enough warning signs in the beginning that this is probably not the best situation for you? Jobs. Okay, let's talk about that one, because jobs right now is such a huge subject, at least in this country, but I'm thinking global. If you look at the global economy, that there is this fear that there's not going to be enough of anything for any of us. And the thing about it is that sometimes having a job is the same thing as signing up for like legal slavery. You're killing yourself, you're working at this place where they're short staffed, but hey, I'm just glad to have a job. But then they treat you like crap. Then they start messing with your benefits. Then your work-life balance is out of balance, and you find yourself getting stressed out, and you find yourself getting sick, and you find yourself taking it out on your family and your loved ones and your friends, because you're in this perpetual state of fear that you're going to lose your job, that you're going to not be able to eat, that you're going to... And I'm not saying that these things aren't very real at the time, but is the only choice to be in fear? Is that really the only choice you have? Or can you decide that I don't care what happens, I'm not going to not work my job, but I refuse to be in fear of not having a job? Because the thing is in that moment when you choose fear, you're actually creating more fear. Now everything in your life is magnetized to create more fear. Okay, today you're in fear that you're going to lose your job, and if I lose my job, I'll lose my house, and if I lose my house, how am I going to feed my family? And then they're going to be upset with me, and now I'm stressed out about that, and I'm feeling like I'm going to lose my job, and I'm bringing the stress home, and me and my partner are fighting more, and then what if we break up, and then so on and so on and so forth. What if, first of all, you put yourself in a position where you say, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to do the best that I can. If they're laying off, I'm going to start on a contingency plan. I'm going to start on what is my plan A or B going to be. You know, it doesn't have to be an attitude of being a sitting duck and kind of waiting for the worst thing to happen. It can actually be a motivation to go figure out an alternative route. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't ever be compartmentalized. You can't ever be in a situation where this one bad thing is just right over here and it's not going to touch the rest of my life. That's not true. Another thing that I've been seeing a lot of is the concept of love. There are people out there who really think that love is not a necessity for the existence of the human being. I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about love in general. I'm talking about the love of oneself. I'm talking about the ability to love others. I'm talking about the ability to accept love from others. We as a species cannot fully be happy without love. We as a species cannot fully function on all levels without love. And I have bad news for all you extremely smart people out there who are emotionally undeveloped, who are emotionally stunted. I know your secret. You're not happy. You might be smart, but you're not happy. I know because I've had to deal with some of you. You've had to deal with me. And it's very interesting how annoying love can be to people who have tried to avoid it for one reason or another for, their lives. Now, this isn't natural. To all of a sudden, decide one day that you don't want love on any level. That's not natural. It's usually the response to something traumatic. Someone we loved deeply hurt us deeply and we never fully recovered, or someone we loved deeply left or died, or somebody or something happened that really shook us to our very core, and now we don't want any part of love. This happens so much in relationships on every level, and those of us who are on the opposite side of this side of it, who, like for me, I live for love. I love love. I exude love. I know is the strongest force in the universe. It really, truly is. And when you think about it, the love for oneself makes you definitely one of the most powerful beings walking the planet. When you truly love yourself, because when you truly love yourself, you wouldn't allow yourself to be hurt or be in hurtful situations for anything in the world. Not for the love of another, not for acceptance of a group, not for anything, when you truly love yourself. So what I found is people who reject love don't have love for themselves. They can't find it, or they haven't developed it. And so it's kind of like walking around kind of handicapped, because as I've stated, if you're human, even if you don't have love, you want it. Even if you intellectually don't want it, your heart wants it. It's what makes us thrive. It's what makes us happy. It's what makes us glow. So, okay, you're a person really smart. You're walking around without love. Again, interconnected. So how does this affect the rest of your life? How does it affect the people you surround yourself with? So if you're a person who doesn't want love, you're probably going to surround yourself with with people who don't understand the whole concept of love, don't have the activity of it, and it kind of puts you in a victim situation, because like attracts like. So if I don't love myself. I'm not going to gift myself with people who will love me. I'm going to gift myself with people who are going to mirror back to me the way I feel about myself. I don't love me, so I attract people to me who aren't going to love me either. They're going to treat me bad. They're going to be disrespectful to me. They're going to dishonor me. And it's kind of me projecting my feelings of myself onto others and then them giving it right back to me. I want people to really think about that. Who you surround yourself is a reflection of how you really feel about yourself. I know, think on that one, because it might take a minute. The kind of job that you work, the kind of job that you'll accept in terms of payment, how you value yourself. You know, what's enough, and is enough really enough? You know, they talk about in the job place all the time how women and men interview differently. But it's also interesting that when a woman is assertive, she is thought of as a bitch or too strong or whatever. Yeah, I've been called that many times. You're too strong. You're too assertive. I disagree. There's a difference between being a bitch for the sake of being a bitch and being, if you're going to label me that, it just means I love myself and you're not going to walk all over me. There's so many people out there who think that that's normal, that that's okay to be someone's doormat because it's going to get you places. And you know where it gets you? On the floor. And a lot of times face down with, you know, people's footprints all over your back. But then you ask yourself, well, if I really loved me, would I be down here? Would I let this happen? There you go. So things are all connected. We do things based upon how we really feel about ourselves, what we think we deserve. And it does affect our health. The food you put in your mouth, are you putting food in your mouth because you love you? Is that the difference between like a piece of cake and a carrot stick? You know, a lot of people use food to medicate. They use food to stuff down feelings, or the lack thereof, the lack of food to stuff down feelings. But it all is a physical manifestation of how you really feel about yourself. So the bottom line is there's no hiding from you. There's no hiding from yourself. You can tell your brain, you can have your brain make up stories and lie to you all day long, but your life is really going to reflect what you really feel about yourself. Your relationships are really going to reflect what you really feel about yourself. Your body is really going to reflect how you feel about yourself. So if you don't like what's going on outside of you, it's a reflection that you're not happy with yourself inside of you either. There's no compartmentalization. Everything is connected, and you are also interconnected. So that's really what this vlog is about. The time for hiding is over, and even if it's a little realization that you have right now from this video, and you want to keep it to yourself, and you want to think about it some more, and you want to come back to this video and watch it again, really, is she telling the truth? Live your life. Live your life. Be conscious of what you do in each moment. And I say, just do it for one day. At the end of that day, you'll realize I might actually know what I'm talking about. But once you have that knowledge, it's like what Dr. Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you must do better. So I hope that you choose to do better yourself for yourself, when you really come into the realization of how you are reflecting your love, your self-love, or your lack of self-love out into the world, and how it's coming back to you in your experiences in every single aspect of your life. I know, it was a mouthful. I know. That was a lot. Maybe there'll be a follow-up video to expand on this, or maybe I'll just write a blog, so you'll have to come to my website at www.conduitofhealing.com. I also should mention that I have a new service that I call Lightworker Mentoring, and it's basically about helping people on their journeys to become consciously present, ascending masters of themselves. Because, as I've said before, it is the mastering of ourselves that qualifies us to teach. And that's it. All right, so thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for checking into the blogs. And if you come to my website, thanks for visiting my website. If you share anything, everything you know about me, I appreciate that too. Namaste. Hang in there with all these shifting times, because I am right there breathing with you, working through my own stuff. Okay? Mwah. All the best.